He told me he cared about me and that he loved me, but yet he wanted me to go sell myself. So I was confused. But at the time, I wasn't listening to myself. I was listening to him. When he would tell me he loved me, I believed it.
The first thing that really grabbed my attention were the victims, the little girls, you know, under the age of 18, becoming prostitutes. And it just makes me sick to think that these children are being used and exploited sexually, and the men that are doing it don't care. It just makes me sick to think about it.
It started out with a slap on the face for me, and it ended up that he tried to kill me.
The most disturbing thing that for me is to see a child who really has no hope.
After I got raped the first time, I was the one that asking for the drugs. I started asking him, just give me the drugs.
Oregon leads the nation in terms of the numbers of juveniles that are bought and sold here on our streets every day.
There are definitely spots on 82nd Avenue in Portland, Oregon that are more busy than others. 82nd Avenue itself is by far the busiest street where prostitution happens.
Human trafficking at the most core level is basically human slavery. We're talking about people that are taken from a situation of being free and independent to being indebted and bonded in either labor slavery or sexual slavery.
This young woman probably turned her first trick by the age of 12. I think that we can start to see the entry into prostitution as being nothing other than abuse of this child.
They're being raped and hurt, burned, anything you could possibly think of by either the pimp or the John. They're treated not as human beings, they're treated as a commodity and passed around, and nobody cares.
I felt like a robot. That's what I felt like. I felt like he owned me. I didn't feel like a person anymore. I felt like a robot.
These are kiddos, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, are being coerced by perpetrators and pimps who are very good at what they do. And they know, they know the vulnerabilities of this age group. And so, they have coerced them into this situation that they then can't get out of because of fear of harm and threat. And they're scared, and they've been told they're going to die, or more importantly, they're told their family's going to die. And so it's not a choice.
Well, the state of Oregon is just set up for human trafficking, unfortunately. We have a number of factors that just make us a hot spot for human trafficking to occur.
I think, like many people, I felt that human trafficking was something that happened in foreign countries, that it did not happen here in our country, in our own backyards, in our schools, and in our communities.
This is not an issue that is in some foreign country. This is a problem that is in our community, our streets, our schools. These are our children, and unfortunately, our indifference has made them invisible. And it is that invisibility that has allowed them to be easy prey to people engaged in trafficking.
I know during Operation Cross Country 3, we actually reviewed over 900 postings on the internet for erotic services just for the Portland area itself.
Many of our city leaders, our county leaders, our state leaders, I don't think have been aware that this problem exists.
What we do know is that people from all socioeconomic backgrounds and all races and all cultures have been victims of trafficking and victims of sexual assault.
It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. It doesn't matter what kind of setting you live in. If you're a girl, they know you can sell yourself for money.
We have a large urban sex industry. I believe there's a statistic out there that says that we have the largest urban sex industry, or the largest per capita sex industry in the United States.
Most Oregonians don't think this affects them, unless it's their own child or somebody they're related to. Then I guarantee you they would feel very different and very helpless. However, it is affecting them. It affects them financially in that we're spending between $35,000 up to $200,000 a year per child with, as I said, not good outcomes.
And when I was doing that with the tricks, I felt absolutely nasty. I felt violated. I couldn't take enough showers after I was done to not feel nasty.
He hit me on the head and he told me that I was going to do whatever he says.
The other thing that we see here in Oregon is we have a large rural area that is mostly agricultural and often used as migrant labor. Well, migrant labor populations are extraordinarily prone and susceptible to labor trafficking.
There's a woman that I did interview or talk to that part of her daily routine out on the field was being raped while working. That was something that happened every day, that she expected every day she woke up in the morning. She knew she was going to be working, but she also knew there was going to be a rape or two during that workday.
Those survivors are being fed terrible food, they're being kept in inhumane conditions. Some of the women who are brought over to work in the fields for 12, 13 hours a day, and then are forced to go out and be prostituted at night and turn over all of that money to their traffickers. Labor trafficking is a huge issue.
You know, it's time to stop turning away, looking the problem right in the eye and doing something about it. And each Oregonian can do something.
If they first say, okay, we're going to step up and say this is happening, that if we acknowledge that it's happening, then we have such a wealth of expertise and of hope and of commitment. That is what I know of Oregon, especially around their children, that can make a difference for these kiddos.
At the moment, we have really great law enforcement. We have really great juvenile justice systems in place to help protect kids. What we're lacking right now is we have a gap in services. There are a large percentage of girls that really require a secure placement setting. Ultimately, what that means is we need a shelter that is a secure placement for girls to be safe from their traffickers, safe from their pimps, and provide an environment where they can go through the process of healing and restoration.
If we let them go that night, she's got nowhere else to stay. She's going to go right back to that pimp. He's providing her food or shelter. It's the worst sort of domestic violence relationship you can ever imagine. And if you don't intervene that night and have somewhere safe to put them, then it makes intervention and prosecution extremely difficult.
Law enforcement alone can't solve this problem. We have lots of folks involved. We have the means to catch the bad guys, but we need help from everybody. All of Oregon can help with this.
If massive numbers of children from middle-class homes went missing on any given day, there would be a tremendous cry for help from our community. We don't hear that kind of hue and cry for the children who are invisible as a result of our indifference to their plight. And these are the children who are really at the fringe of our community. The children who've run away, the children who are homeless, the children who've been abused and neglected, the children who are living on the street, the children who are in too many foster homes, who finally give up that we will find a forever home for them. When we raise the alarm bells for these children, then we will begin to find the solutions to meet their treatment needs.